everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of Catch the Fuck Up. My name is Fern.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are not okay because today we are, number 345 is the chapter number. The title is Division, double entendre for sure, but oof, yeah.
Oof. Yes. All the oofs. Really quick, just like we tweeted last week for chapter 344, we completely skipped over a pretty big point. So really quick.
Oh my God. Yes.
Okay. So really quick, in chapter 344, when Aizawa was going over the plan with Monoma, and we were all like so galaxy brained about it, there was a very small moment where he basically said that because he has fully lost his eye, his erasure quirk is all but useless. So we can assume it might still work, but also he basically has to retrain his entire quirk, because that's what you do when you become disabled. You have to get used to doing what you're used to do. Anyway, basically Aizawa, if he's participating, he's like not participating on the front lines. Like, he may have a trick up his sleeve or not, but basically I think we are not going to be able to count on Eraserhead, sadly. Okay.
I think so. Although, well, okay, we'll get to it.
To
it. On that, I did want to note that I've noticed that more and more characters are starting to lose either a quirk or a part of their quirk. And I thought that was really interesting. And I'm going to be following that closely to see if that holds up or not.
Yes. All right. Yes, that's a very good point. I was too busy having vibrations throughout my body as I read this chapter. So to dive right so many thoughts. All right. So to dive right into chapter 345, we jump right in from where 344 left off. All the villains are in these like specific little cages. So right after this, we basically are inside the cage for one point, and we start with Toga's little group. And of course, I like zoomed in to see who's all in there with her. There's one guy that kind of looks like he might be inspired by Deadpool, which I appreciate. But other than that, there is a guy who looks like the guy all the way from USJ, the water guy, who is like,
how in the fuck do you remember this shit?
That's what he looks like. He looks like the guy with the water hand. So if he is, I will double check after we record. But okay. So moving on, Toga gives the command to break the cage open quickly, which is great. She's a leader. She's awesome. And so they do.
She's shaking things up. She ain't following your plans.
Yeah, fuck you very much. So basically, for a few seconds, the cages hold, but then the cages are destroyed, and not just like one or two. It looks like most of them are destroyed.
Yeah, it looks like they all got smashed up pretty quickly, which, I mean, the longevity wasn't the point.
Exactly. And we go from Toga to, do we call him Dobby or Toya now? I don't know. We're going to do it interchangeably.
Just call him Toya.
Okay. All right. So we switch to Toya, who breaks his open, obviously. And with all the people with him, they face down with some shadows. It's not immediately clear who he's facing off with. But I think, you turn the page and you see who he's facing off with. So
yes.
first, and all these panels are kind of confusing at first, but
my God, yes. There's so much detail. My brain just went, okay, and skipped right over it.
Yep. Fern's brain just kind of glitched out. I, of course, zoomed in so I could like see everybody in each panel. So
thank God.
The first panel we see, and this is the one against Toya, the people that we can easily make out at least are Burnin, who is Endeavor's second in command. She's awesome. We love her. We can also see Ida up there, and we see, sadly, Shoto and Toya facing off in that moment when the cages bust open. But then we like go to like the other groups. So as the cages are opening and as everything is going down, we see in the next panel, Endeavor is doing something somewhere. We see,
yeah, whatever, who cares?
Yeah, we don't care. We see Uraraka and Tsuyu are together, like they're paired up in their fight because they're awesome together and they're partners in hero work, and it's awesome. And then the next one is Izuku and Bakugo are next to each other. It looks like the plan is that they're going to fight side by side, which obviously we know works very well from all the stuff we've seen. And then
I did want to point out, so Katsuki calls Izuku Deku here, and I was wondering if that's because that's his hero name and they're addressing everyone by their hero names right now, or if it's because he's just under duress and he's just defaulting back to what he usually does, or if it's a mix of both.
It's a mix of both. It has to be, because he's not the bully anymore. He's very stressed, so he's like going back to it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, we move along to Monoma, still having the time of his life.
This is his one shining moment, and he is milking the fuck out of it. And I'm so here for it.
As he should. He's having a great time. So basically, he is holding all the warp gates open so the cages can go through. And even the ones that are like being broken open, it's too slow. So like they're also kind of going through. So we go.
He's doing a great job, basically.
Yep, he's doing his part of the plan perfectly. And then we go to this one dude who looks familiar, but I honestly do not remember if he is a hero or a villain. And it's also not really clear who is talking at this point. But
yeah, it's Horikoshi, you could have done better.
Yeah, it's not clear to me who's talking, but it's okay because it doesn't really matter who's talking. The only thing that matters on this page 5, is that somebody calls UA a word I didn't know, mammonists or mammonist. I don't know. I had to
confused about that too.
I looked it up in the moment so I could enjoy it, and basically mammonist it's an old word, so we don't really use it this much, like in modern English, but it's basically a person obsessed with wealth. So they like burned UA.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm assuming there's probably a common use Japanese term there, and they were like, fuck, that doesn't directly translate.
Yeah,
fuck it, we're going with mammonist.
Yep, and it works perfectly because it's so ridiculous, and it's like zings right into everything that UA is regarding like wealth and privilege and all that kind of stuff. So we continue down the page, and it says we've also got a strategy to counter the quirk decay. So yes, I'm taking that to mean that ooze that I was obsessed with last week. It is either somebody's quirk or it is some material that was drawn up to like essentially stop the disintegration quirk. But we turn the page and it's not clear what it is because we go to the next page.
Okay, see, I was wondering if Aizawa had something to do with it.
I mean, he might have. It might have been part of his plan, but it doesn't look like it is. Like last week, we said we wondered if Shigaraki was having trouble with his quirks, but it looks like whatever that like puddle was, it was something that the heroes like was part of their strategy to counteract.
Wait, hold on 1 second, because the warp gates that All for One can produce, they're oozy, right? So that might have just been leftover warp ooze, and he was just touching the ground.
That's true, but also if you think back to all the other times he uses the ooze warp, there's no puddles left. It's always, it comes out and then it shrinks back into itself. So I personally think it is some sort of quirk or some sort of support material that they specifically made to counteract the decay itself, because they know after the first war how dangerous it is now.
But then how would they know that Shiggy like would land on that pile of ooze though? Like how did they get it on him?
Well, that's I think what we're going to find out next time.
We better, because I need answers.
Because spoilers, we still don't know what it is, but it is a strategy against the decay quirk. So moving along.
I just don't want to talk about the next point.
Yeah, the next point was stressful. So you turn the page and the first panel is Izuku and Bakugo, and it looks like maybe a couple other people are, it looks like Mirko's there. Anyway, it looks like they're fighting something, and Nejire is there too, and it looks like Ed shot. So it looks like they're going like all in on an attack with whatever their warp assignment is. And then you see real quick in a panel, something wrap around Izuku's wrist. Now, I thought it was Jiro's earphone jack. And I was like, oh shit, Jiro's in trouble. We find out what it is later, but the whole time I was like, shit, Jiro, leave him alone. Jiro, don't be another traitor, Jiro.
Okay. See, I was very focused on the character that it actually was. So
yeah, well, I was not. I was panicking and my mind was going in a million different directions, like Jiro is hurt or Jiro is a second traitor somehow, even though she was never on the list.
Honey.
I know. I was like the entire time I was reading. We will get to who that is. But the point of it is, in that moment, Izuku gets yoinked through a different portal that he's not supposed to go through. And it's really cute. Like the first panel, he's like, what happened? And he's just like yoinked through. And
literally yoinked. Like,
yeah. And then from that little tiny kind of funny drawing, you go straight to Katsuki, who's like all in on the battle. He's ready to go. And then he looks back and Izuku is going through a portal again, flashing back to the camp, and it's bad and it's over in a second, but the PTSD, the badness.
Oh yeah, you can definitely see like 8,000 flashbacks happening.
Yeah. Like their perfect plan that was going to be great is now suddenly not great. And they're both kind of like, holy shit, wait, my boyfriend, my partner, we're supposed to work together. And then you're not anymore. So,
absolutely.
Remind me when we're done, talk about Horikoshi's like announcement at the start of the year. Anyway, okay, next page. It's a thing. I have feelings. Okay. All right. Next page. We cut back to like the parking garage or whatever it is. It's basically the original scene where now a lot of the villains have now been cleared out of the area, which is great because they're now not as close to UA. So we go through and we see Toshi give an order to Fat Gum. Yes, our husband. He is there. His job, it's so sweet. His job is like to clear up all the stragglers and get them like into lockdown, I guess. But his job is also to like watch out for and protect Aoyama because he is
another son.
Yes, he is peak dad hero. Wonderful. He's perfect. And he's like even in the moment when everything is going crazy, he takes the time to like compliment Aoyama's like bravado, and it's perfect. So
good.
Yes, I just want Fat Gum to like tuck Aoyama into his fat and just carry him off into the sunset. All right.
Yes.
So right now, everyone is divided up. So the plan itself has worked mostly, aside from whatever is going on with Izuku. So next, Monoma he calls himself the mastermind, which I appreciated.
He's ridiculous. I love him.
He has his moment. He can have it. And he is ordered to get back to Aizawa. So he does that. Everyone's divided up. We don't know what Monoma's next, like what his next step is, but he's going back to Aizawa. So we can either assume he's going to refill Kurogiri's because he has a time limit on his copy, or maybe he's been sent back to get another quirk. Maybe he's going to pick up Shinso's, or maybe he's going to copy Aizawa's.
Pick up Aizawa's.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't know what he's going to do next, but he's been sent back to Aizawa, wherever Aizawa is. So
how many can he do at a time now? It's like 3, or is it 5?
I thought it was only 2.
I could swear he can do more now.
He might be able to. I'm just thinking of back in
I think it's 3
5.
because he had like 3 watches.
Okay. Well, I also remember he had 3 watches, but he had 3 watches specifically to make people think he could do 3.
No, he can definitely do more than 1 at a time.
Oh yeah, he can do more than 1. I'm just not sure how many. So
I'm pretty sure it's 3.
Okay. So
we're gonna look like idiots if we're wrong, but
it's okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 3.
Whatever it is, if it is 3, if it is more or less, he has now gone back to Aizawa to basically, I think, refill whatever quirks is for the next step.
Smart. So, yeah.
Yep. We go to the next page, and it's basically where they're dumping people out in what looks like an abandoned forest area, which is great. So
yeah, it's one of the many forests that we've been in before, but honestly,
yes.
they're kind of blurring together in my mind.
Yeah, they're all the same forest in my mind. Anyway, so the people who have come through that I can recognize, the Pussycat doll who can do earth bending, awesome. Pixie Bob.
The Pussycat dolls.
Yep. And I'm like just going down the panel because there's so much happening. So there's Pixie Bob and Endeavor. Fuck you, but I guess we need your quirk. And then down from there, there's some smaller folks in the background that I don't recognize. I can't pick out, but the people I do recognize are Tiger, like the other Pussycat doll, who I think is also. Wait, this might be.
I'm sorry, you keep calling them Pussycat dolls. That's the name of the band. I'm pretty sure they're just the Pussycats.
It's the same thing. Anyway, the Pussycats. I think it's a fan in theory that Tiger is trans, female to male. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But Tiger's there.
Horikoshi was not clear. We'll get to that when we get to that.
Yes, we'll get to that. All right. And then also there is Hound, the dog from UA. I get his quirk is dog, I think. And he's like, he can sniff things, but I guess also he can bite.
He seems pretty feral.
Yeah, it's good he's there. I'm sure he'll do things. There is Kamui Woods and Tokoyami. Awesome, wonderful. And they are joining up with Hawks. So obviously Tokoyama is there with his like teacher father person. And phase 2 begins and they have dumped out a bunch of villains, but this is where they have dumped out AFL.
And so, poor Hawks and his wings. They are
skeletal.
Barely functional.
Homeboy needs like a year off, but I mean it's war. So it looks like he is able to fly now, at least. So that's good. That's more than he was able to do back with Lady Nagant. Anyway, he tries to fucking behead AFO, which is great. It's awesome. I was like, oh, fucking shit.
Yeah, no, seriously, direct approach. I love it.
Yeah, it was great. And it didn't work. He had armor, but I mean,
also,
he tried.
Has Hawks always had swords and I just missed them? Are the swords new?
Yeah, they are swords. He must not have enough feathers to do a feather sword. But
oh wait, maybe they're definitely
no, they have handles. So I'm betting what he did as he was training his quirk is he trained with swords until he could use feather swords, essentially.
That makes sense. Sense. I forgot that he used his feathers like blades sometimes.
Yeah, and he's good with swords because that's what he trained with. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. They have brought Hawks, Endeavor, Tokoyami, and a bunch of other heroes to this one place. It's called the Gunga Villa site, which I think, if the villa is what I think it is, it's like that hotel from season 5 where the Liberation Army was there, the metahumans, they had like their hotel in the woods.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever. We don't care.
They're all the same. Yeah. But basically they're like off in the woods and mountains. Great. Awesome. Away from everybody. And then this page is basically the page, bad news, the person you hate has a good point.
Yes. So, oh my God. I was so pissed off that I had to agree with All for One for a few seconds. Also, once again, All for One's page is just full of text because this bitch does not shut up.
Yeah, this bitch does not shut up. And also Endeavor doesn't shut up because half the page is Endeavor blabbing about how they studied the ooze warp and they like basically made the UA barrier against that, whatever. And then AFO starts to monologue. So these two are made for each other.
God,
I hope they kill each other. Yeah.
Just so boring.
They are. They are. Their victims are far more interesting. Anyway, so we go into it and like AFO is doing like the psychic damage kind of thing, like the manipulation. But he's basically saying, Endeavor, you are such a cruel man to basically send Izuku after Tomura, which like not fun, not cool. But also the most brutal part of your scheme is forcing your youngest to clean up your own mess, no matter how much it pains Shoto to face Toya. And the abuse towards Toya continues with this strategy. how dare we have to agree with AFO in this moment? And
I know, right? Also, the Dobby stands are going to go ape shit over that panel.
Oh yeah,
because his shirt is literally falling off. Also, those scars are extensive.
Yep, they're getting.
They do not look
worse.
good.
Yep, they're getting. I do like though that Horikoshi's fetish for the man boobs continues because
That's
scarring.
True. That's true. He kind of understands the female gaze occasionally.
Yeah, the scarring has not reached his Toya's cleavage, so we can still gaze upon the cleavage of this poor boy. So basically what is happening is Shoto and Toya are facing each other down. I believe where this is, because it's where All Might's statue was raised. I want to say that is Kamino's ground zero. I don't know for sure.
I think so. Who knows?
It doesn't matter. But basically, Shoto has been sent to face down with Toya, while Endeavor has been sent to deal with All for One. And we can, if you think back to a couple chapters ago when Endeavor was like reading the plan, he looked a little sad, even though we don't care if he's sad. But this is what he was looking at. And this is what they were talking about in Shoto's room when they had like their little friend group polycule meeting, and it was really cute.
The little therapy session before the great big battle. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And the people that I recognize with him are Burnin, and Ida is there. Great, awesome. It looks like there's a Nomu
definitely
there.
a Nomu, yeah.
Yep. And there's one other person I don't recognize.
Tommy person, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see Hiroshima. It doesn't mean he's not there, but
yeah, where is my son?
We haven't seen him. He's not in this chapter. We don't know where he is. How dare. Okay, so moving along, you turn the page from
This
Shoto.
is just going to be a long episode. It's fine.
Yeah, there's a lot here. We turn the page from Shoto and Toya facing off. We're not going to see that fight start because you turn the page and suddenly there's a floating city.
Yeah, oh my God, this is such bullshit. What the fuck is this?
I turned the page and I had to like flip between the pages so many times to see that I was seeing it correctly, but they have a floating city now somehow.
A floating city block, to be clear.
It looks like they have floated UAs, like the building that we all know, and it's just floating, and one of the warp gates has shot the villains out here, and there are heroes waiting, and you flip the page. Oh, your favorite is back. But this is where Shigaraki is. So Shigaraki is in this floating city, wherever it is. And Bakugo immediately goes to his internship teacher, his
complicated father figure.
Kind of.
Yeah, complicated. Woo, so complicated.
It's Best Jeanist. This is Best Jeanist's arena.
BJ.
And BJ is like, it seems to be like he's got like a web of denim or thread around this floating city to kind of like trap everybody in, which is great. It's a good idea. He calls him Denim Head. I love it. I know we don't personally like BJ, but I want like more screen time given to his and Bakugo's like relationship. Like,
same.
We don't see a lot of it, so it kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere, at least to us. Neither here nor there. Basically, the plan was to send Shigaraki to UA, which is now flying. And
I can't get over that. It's so stupid.
And BJ was going to basically like be the pro hero on site, while Bakugo and Deku were supposed to be taking down Shigaraki. So, and he goes right to Best Jeanist. He says, bad freaking news. Like, we know you can swear, Katsuki. It's okay.
Yeah.
And he says, Deku ain't here when you turn the page. So the plan worked, except for this one bit where Deku was not sent to deal with Tomura. So he turned the page, and somehow Deku has ended up with Uraraka and Froppy, where they were going to fight. So when you're reading this page, you don't know where they were sent to, but it's fine. But Uraraka's like, excuse me, what, sir? Why are you here?
Yep.
Yep. And then,
excuse you, I was supposed to have like my sapphic face down with my not girlfriend. Why are you here?
Yeah, well, thank you for spoiling it. So he was.
Oh, sorry. Well, whatever. They've already read the chapter.
Yeah, that's true. But I had this whole big thing built up anyway. So he instead of it being Jiro's earphone jack, it's actually Toga's needle thing. So Toga pulled Deku to where she was being sent to. But before you look at the last page, Izuku has a thought, and this thought is his danger sense that he now has like complete control over. It didn't go off when Toga pulled him through, which is very, very interesting.
I have thoughts.
Yeah, we have many thoughts. All right. But basically the chapter ends with Izuku and with Froppy and Uraraka now with Toga and wherever she ended up. It looks like she ended up with a bunch of Nomus. I don't know if that was the point.
Yes, okay. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. And they have somehow ended up at an aquarium for some reason.
Froppy, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably so.
Well,
Froppy.
also, Gong Orca is there too, so I'm assuming it's really beneficial for both their quirks for them to be there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see Gang Orca, but yeah, okay, that's strategic. Yeah, they're there to take advantage of Froppy and Gang Orca's strengths. Okay, but I didn't see Gang Orca. I just saw the aquarium building, and I'm like, hello, why? Anyway. So the chapter ends with Toga having been the only one to make the plan not work by pulling Izuku into the battle between her and Uraraka, which we know has been coming forever, but we don't know now why Toga wants him there with her and Uraraka. So whenever the next chapter comes up, because I've been like refreshing my app and it does not say when the next chapter is coming, which is really rude. Yeah,
that is rude. What the fuck?
Yeah, so we don't know. It might be next week. It might be 2 weeks. We don't actually know. I will refresh it now. But before I get to my thoughts, what were your thoughts about Uraraka and Toga?
Okay, here's my theory. I think Toga is going to switch sides.
Yes, exactly. And that's why Danger Sense didn't go off, because
yes, and that's why she's with a bunch of Nomus.
Yes, and she like does not intend harm to Izuku. But we could look at it a different way. She does not intend to harm Izuku, but she intends to harm other people. So we don't know exactly how good Danger Sense works, but I'm with you. I want it to be she's about to switch sides.
I think it will be, because like she's got a crush on Izuku, she's got a crush on Uraraka. But also, and she doesn't mention this very often, but she also kind of has a thing for Sue as well.
Yes. Yep. Because Sue is there at the camp when it started with Uraraka.
And she thinks she's super cute.
Yep.
So like, and you know, that's just how Toga is. She's like, oh, you're cute? Cool. I love you.
Mine.
And that means all sorts of obsessive things. But like, I genuinely think she's gonna flip.
Yeah, I did too. I wonder if it is going to involve a fight where Uraraka gets through to her, because it seems like in the last 2 chapters, she's kind of been quiet. Like she hasn't really been voicing what she's really thinking. So
she's been ruminating.
Yeah, she's been thinking about a lot after the fight she had with Uraraka. So
yeah, she's really been turning that over in her mind.
Yeah, so we can assume she is hopefully about to switch sides. We don't know if that's going to involve a fight and a final conversion, but yeah, with this lovely sapphic or bisexual thing that is happening, that is going to come
sapphic just means woman loving, so it also applies to bisexual people.
Okay, cool. So we will see what happens, and we hope that Toga switches sides in time to like make waves in the battle. But
I really hope so.
Yeah,
although
me too.
I feel like some negotiation is going to be needed, because I can't see her fighting like say Spinner or Shigaraki directly, because she cares about them too. So maybe she just wants to turn herself in.
Yeah, or she wants to fight AFO but not her friends, which would make sense. Because because she sees AFO being all kinds of abusive. And maybe she doesn't. No, that doesn't work because Hawk's killed twice, not the meta humans. Anyway.
Oh, but she still has his blood though.
Yeah, so she's gonna do something with Twice's blood, but we don't know when. Anyway.
Oh no, what if she brought them all there because she wants to attack them?
I know that's that.
But then they win her over with the power of friendship during the fight. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I think
God, poor Koshi.
Yeah, I think on some level she was not thinking she was going to hurt Izuku, and that's why the danger sense didn't go off. And we hope she will. That's why
the danger sense.
Yeah, and we hope she will change sides, but we don't know if a fight is going to be involved. Anyway, so that's where we are with the Toga situation and the Uraraka situation. Other folks involved in the plan. So the plan is now in action. We still don't know what's actually going on with Spinner and the heteromorph folks, because
we still haven't seen them at all.
Yeah, we haven't seen them, so we can assume they're going to do something maybe in the next chapter, or maybe we're gonna play out these battles for a few chapters. But
it wouldn't surprise me if like we get to a point where it looks like the heroes are winning and then the heteromorphs come out.
Yeah, that would make sense, like story-wise and plot-wise. But from here, let's go through. I'm going through in my head like all the bits and pieces. So we have Endeavor and Hawks facing down with AFO and whatever villains were pulled through with him. We have Shoto and Toya facing off, which we kind of knew was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, that was predictable.
They're there. And then up in the floating city. Well, actually, before the floating city, we're back to like the parking garage. I think the parking garage is pretty much done.
Yeah, I think.
And once that's cleaned up, I think Monoma may like warp heroes to the other places to like be in the process of sending reinforcements.
Yeah, because you don't let Fat Gum sit out on a fight. That guy's way too valuable.
Yeah, he's an invaluable fighter. I think once he's taken care of that space, they're going to send him and others to reinforce the other battles. But going up to the fucking floating city, this is my thought. Okay, so remember, like it was like at the start of this year, the end of last year, 2021 to 2022, when Horikoshi made the announcement that this is going to be like the final year of MHA, which we already kind of knew. We knew it was plunging towards the resolution.
Yeah.
But he was like going through what the characters were going to do. And a lot of speculation was over Bakugo's character, because a lot of people in the fandom incorrectly assumed that because he has now like made up with Izuku, like his plot line is done and he's not going to do anything else, which like, have you been paying attention?
Are we reading the same series?
Yeah, I was like, y'all, that's not correct. But I think basically a lot of people thought that Bakugo's like bullying arc and like becoming a better person was going to carry through to the end. But then when he basically resolved with Izuku, they weren't sure what he was going to do next.
Well, we know going to fight with Izuku. Like,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
The culmination is that they become partners.
Exactly. And we know that because we've actually been paying attention. We knew Bakugo was going to fight until the very end, whatever that end is. Mm-hmm. But Horikoshi also made the comment that Bakugo himself, like him alone, is going to have a very major role in the climax. So
yeah, I knew that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but it's also interesting that he bothered to make that statement. Like,
true,
with everything else,
without saying it.
Yeah, with everything else going on, the folks like us who knew Bakugo was into the bitter end knew it. It like devil's advocate, he could have just been like because we know Bakugo is like one of his favorite characters. He could have been like, y'all need to shut up. He's like in it to the end. But now with where Bakugo is and with where Izuku is, because they got split up, I wonder if Bakugo's big role is going to be defeating Shigaraki on his own.
Interesting. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's going to play out that way or if it's going to Bakugo.
I don't think so. I feel like they set up too much between Izuku and Shigaraki, and they built up too many parallels for it to end like that.
Yeah, I think Izuku and Shigaraki are going to have their final face off, obviously, probably after Toga is dealt with, however that plays out. But I think Bakugo's role may be fighting Shigaraki, like getting him tired, getting him to the point where it's easier to defeat him. And I wonder, because our headcanon is Bakugo is descended from the second user of One for All, I wonder if he is going to like start breaking down the like mind control and the abuse aspects of AFO's control to like remind Shigaraki that Izuku can save him just like he saved Bakugo.
I was wondering about that, because now I'm thinking, what if Bakugo, instead of defeating Shigaraki, ends up saving him, and we have another like hand outstretched moment, because when, you know, Katsuki looks at Shigaraki, he sees something of Izuku in him.
Yes, exactly. Like, and then at some point, Izuku will also come in, and maybe they'll both hold their hands out, or maybe the second user will finally come into play, like we've been hoping with the reincarnation headcanon that we've had.
We've gone off the wall with that little reincarnation headcanon.
I fully believe it, and I will be disappointed if it doesn't play out, because we still do we actually know what the second user's quirk was, or even the third user's?
Genuinely have no clue. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because
the second user also has the same personality as well as the same face as Katsuki, and plays his cards pretty goddamn close to his chest.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Izuku. Well, we might know the third users. I think the third users was Fajin, where it's like whatever that was.
There's too many details to keep track
of. But I do think we have not seen the second user's quirk, and whether that is because Izuku hasn't needed to use it or has not mastered using it because the second user is so like closed off. Whatever the case, I think Bakugo is going to have a pivotal role in defeating and or saving Shigaraki, because I think
all of those various little pieces that we just touched on, I think, are all going to like coalesce.
Yep, and come together and basically contribute to Shigaraki not being part of the final fight with AFO. So
yeah, I definitely think AFO's the final big bad here.
Yep. And whether that is they're going to beat Shigaraki first and just kind of put him out of commission, or somehow turn Shigaraki towards their side, not like a complete double agent like Toga or Spinner that we think might happen, but like basically get him to the point where he will turn against AFO.
Deactivate in a pivotal him, moment. Basically.
Yes. And deprogram.
There we go.
Yes. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, is that everything?
I think we were pretty thorough.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on in this one. And I have a feeling that going forward, these little episodes are going to get longer, just because there's so much speculation to be had.
Yeah, that's true. But also because like the plan has for the most part played out, I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. So like doing these episodes, I don't think we're going to be as effervescent as I am personally right now, because I'm sweating and shaking again.
This is all the setup, so we had to establish everything, and that takes forever.
Yes. All right. So I'm just scanning back through. We were going to look something up, but I don't remember. Oh,
genuinely can't recall.
Yeah, genuinely cannot recall. Oh, I think the thing was I was going to see if the dude talking on Monama's page was a hero or a villain. Not that it matters. I don't even really care anymore, because so much has happened. Our boyfriends are separated. Our sapphic moment has been interrupted by a man.
What the hell, Horikoshi?
How dare you send a man into our sapphic moment, sir?
He doesn't even want to be there.
But yeah, I think that's it. And I mean, I'm hoping the next chapter comes out next week, but the app is not showing me, and how rude. And it's like not okay. We'll cross your fingers that it comes out next Sunday, because if not, I have
we're gonna lose it.
Yeah, we're gonna lose it. Okay, well, this whole week has been just a mess in a variety of ways. So If you're like us, yeah, if you're like us and you're a mess because of the world and now also because of the chapter, we're with you. We feel you. Oh, it's a lot. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Oh, Lord.
Well, thank y'all for listening. And in the meantime, go beyond plus ultra and catch the fuck up. Bye, y'all.
Bye.